All right, so it's May 11th. It's a Monday. Hope you're doing all right. Got some Star Wars news to go over. I want to talk about Boba Fett and a few other things. Mostly going to focus on the story group writer who's on Twitter saying that he thinks canon is nonsense. I think that makes a lot of sense if you think about a person who's in charge of writing all of the stories for Star Wars thinking canon is nonsense. It starts to come together and paint a picture about how terribly managed Disney Star Wars has been. But I saw over on Twitter, Mark Hamill has recently been saying goodbye to Luke Skywalker, how Episode 9 was the last time he played Luke Skywalker and he'll never play him again. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you haven't played Luke Skywalker since Return of the Jedi. This is why the famous meme is Jake Skywalker, because the guy who's been in all the Disney movies, that ain't Luke. So, I don't know if you realize this or not, Mark, but you haven't played the character in a long time. Not since, when did Return of the Jedi come out in theaters? 1983, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Been a long time since you've played Luke. Because that guy you played in the new movies, that ain't him. That ain't him. So, yeah, there's that. Just having a little fun there. The other big news, though, is that Boba Fett is coming back. I know a lot of people have already talked about this, but I did review the entire season of Mandalorian that dropped on Disney Plus, and I liked it a lot. The character, I think it was in the 5th episode, you could kind of hear a lot of cues in the way the character walked, his cloak, and so on. Everyone was saying, oh, that cameo at the end is Boba Fett. I didn't believe it. Because I was like, there's no way they're going to bring him back. Looks like they are. So the guy who played him in Clone Wars is coming back, and he's going to play Boba Fett after playing Jango Fett. He also redubbed the character in the original trilogy. They brought him in and changed that dialogue up. So he's coming back. So now we have Ahsoka and Boba Fett. Now, I don't know what he's going to be doing in the show. I guess we'll find out, but everyone's going crazy about this. Pretty much Mandalorian is just a big reminder of what Star Wars could have been if they had competently ran the entire Disney trilogy. It's such a shame that they had to run the series into the ground before they gave us something good. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for Mandalorian Season 2. It's the only good thing that we've gotten out of Disney Star Wars. I don't count Season 7 of the Clone Wars because here's the deal. From what I understand, that was done before Disney bought everything. So they have little to do with that other than censoring some stuff on it and finishing it. The Mandalorian is an original production by them, made in-house at current Lucasfilm. So that is their baby. That's the only good thing they've created. Everything else has just been terrible trash. And then we have outlets like CBR, the biggest of all shills, asking why Star Wars fan theories are often more in-depth than the films are. Probably because everyone working at Lucasfilm right now sucks. And here's yet another example of them not caring and not taking the history of Star Wars very seriously. You have someone in the story group on Twitter going crazy about why canon just shouldn't be such a big deal. We shouldn't care so much about canon. We shouldn't care about it. You know, they don't care. All they do is see Star Wars as is some kind of vehicle for their agenda, for their stuff, the politics they want to push, so that they can push some new idea, some new progressive goal, and that's it. And they've been doing it forever. Kathleen Kennedy, one of the first things she did was trot on that Forces Female shirt. Want to let you know from the get-go, your time's up. Nothing's been good since. We got, Rogue One and The Mandalorian? That's it. Everything else has been trash. Force Awakens wasn't even that good, to be honest. It's just a rehash of A New Hope. So, Star Wars hasn't been good for a long time. And with attitudes like this, it's not going to change. So he gets in this lighthearted conversation about canon. And it's like, this is something that should be taken seriously. This is one of the reasons why they want to get the hell out of the Skywalker saga so bad. They want to just be able to do whatever the hell they want. I'm in the mind that you can consider anything you want canon if it makes you happy. For the most part, it still works, but there are some contradictions with other storytelling if you really care. And he says this, he shares out this article. This is an older one. It's in here for context. Everyone should read this. It's a much more articulate way of discussing something I've often tried to crunch down into 280 characters. It's also why I choose not to answer or give frustratingly vague answers to many questions thrown my way here on Twitter. It's an article about why canon sucks, and we need to be able to just do whatever we want and not care about history. I mean, that's part of the whole appeal to Star Wars is the lore and the history. That's why canon is important. Star Trek has these problems. Worse than Star Wars right now. Okay, anyone who watched Picard, or I guess Discovery, which I skipped. I watched like Nerdrotic and Victor Von Doomcock's videos on Discovery quite a bit, and they tear it to pieces. I could tell just from watching a couple episodes of Picard that it's a problem. They have a huge... Star Trek is way more broken than Star Wars. But don't worry, Star Wars will get there eventually. Especially with writers like this, heading up everything. This guy's on the story group. So they head up all of the stories for Star Wars. They're like the gatekeepers, the idea pushers. Everything comes from them. It's a group of clowns is what it is. Nothing but bozos and clowns. Look at that. Look at that Star Wars High Republic board that everyone was roasting. How it had like representation all over it in like 5 different spots. These people don't give a damn about Star Wars. They never have cared. So here he is responding to a question about the EU, saying, I don't see the 2 different continuities as a problem. I wish that they would keep doing the EU. They would let people continue those stories, to be honest, because that would make a lot of people happy, I think, because I could really care less about Disney canon. They had such a nice world with the EU fleshed out, just totally thrown in the toilet. All it's there for now is to cherry pick things for when they want to put them in their new crap. Says that's exactly it. Canon should be an added bonus, but not the end all be all of a story. The EU is no less good now than it was before due to the fact that it's no longer canon. That didn't change the stories. You did change it though. You ended it. And then he goes on to say, I personally don't see the point of recanonizing things. If that version doesn't contradict anything, pretty sure it's clear, then anyone who likes it can consider it a part of their Star Wars story, but it leaves open the opportunity to retell it in the future. I think he's talking about the original animated Clone Wars there, which was actually kind of nice. I always thought that was kind of confusing how they had that, and then they went and made the longer series. Anyway, that's not canon anymore. And, compared to the new series, there's a good reason for that. Like I said, that season 7 of Clone Wars was really good, by the way, especially the last 4 episodes. If you just want to watch those kind of line right up with Revenge of the Sith. Anyway, continuing on. Fans generally put too much emphasis on what the company deems official. If you like the animated version, I do, then there's no reason to value it less than just because it's non-canon, Now, what he's talking about here is the original Clone Wars cartoon. It's the animated version, not the CGI version that everyone's very familiar with, the one that went for 7 seasons. That is the official version. No one really considers the old animated version canon anymore. But just when he's talking about this, fans put too much emphasis on canon. We do because we take it serious. And these people don't take any of this stuff serious. They think it's all a joke. They think you're a joke, and they think you're a joke for thinking all this stuff is serious. This is why these people need to be kept out of all of our hobbies, because they don't care about it. You have people running it that don't care about it. You should have people that care and want to do right by the fans running all this stuff, but they don't care about you. All they care about is their message. I just find it funny. This guy's on here just pretty much saying none of this stuff matters. He even says it right here. He says it point blank right here. So to summarize, there is a reason that we need to internally know what is and isn't canon so we can keep our line of official storytelling as aligned as possible, but that doesn't mean fans can't individually pick and choose what they want to accept as true. So you can mix and match whatever you want, I guess. It's all a big joke to Matt. And then we go right here. It's all fake anyway, so you can choose to accept whatever you want as part of the story. All right. Good to know that someone who runs the Star Wars story group thinks it's all a bunch of nonsense and it's all fake anyway. Well, we know it's fake. It doesn't make it any less important to people. And these people don't understand that at all. That's kind of their problem. Oh, you care too much? You must be some kind of istaphobe. Really, that's the real thing. Tell you what, it's going to be an interesting year. Interesting year. I'm really wondering, are they going to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy and clean house, or are they going to keep her? If they keep her and they keep all these clowns associated with Lucasfilm, these guys like this Matt guy running around here saying canon's a joke, I really wonder about the future for this franchise. I wonder how Mandalorian Season 2 is going to be. Oh, the fans like that. We better make it crappy. All they do is want to seem to get rid of the old fans so they can bring in their weirdo club and have them be fans who don't show up, by the way. All these people that they want to run off the old fans for don't ever show up to anything or support anything. Oh, they like stuff on Twitter. That's about it, though. So we'll see. But it's going to be an interesting year for Star Wars. I can tell you that right now. I can't wait to see how all of this plays out. Will the Bobs finally sack up and get rid of her? Only time will tell. Anyway, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think about all this. What do you think about Mark Hamill never playing Luke since the 80s? What do you think about... he said episode 9 was his last one. What do you think about Boba Fett coming back? What do you think of this guy making fun of canon? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Also, if you would, share the video, throw a like up, make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.